Hey Leos, this is Sage Wisdom here to do your reading. This is a timeless reading, so it doesn't matter when you click on this video, it should apply. You should have something in this message that applies to you, Leo. Okay, so let's get started with the prayer. Thank you, God, for this opportunity to read for the sun sign of Leo. We'll be looking at moon rising or Venus or anybody that has Leo in their chart. I'm calling in my spiritual team. I'm calling in protection, white light, and love. Protect the space, protect the collective. And please provide messages that's for the highest good that's relevant to the Leos at this time. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right, Leo. So let's start with your overall energy and then we'll go into the tarot spread. So the first card, Leo, that you have in your overall energy is water your garden. Nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. This is the first card. Okay, and what this card is saying is that you've been called to take a break. Time for you to take a break from everything you've been doing, get some rest. You need to restock, you need to replenish, and just slow down in general. This body you got, this is the only body you given this lifetime, so it needs to be respected. So you need to take that time out and do what you gotta do to pour into yourself. Okay, take responsibility for your health. Put your body first, whether that's getting to some type of exercise routine, and maybe not something big, maybe just going for a walk for like 15 minutes a day, starting out slow, maybe taking a bath, maybe going to get a massage, maybe going to get a pedicure or a manicure, doing something nice for your body to help nourish you. Okay, if you keep pushing yourself and keep pushing on and not taking the time to take care of the body, fatigue is going to set in. So that's why you're going to be extremely tired, extremely sleepy. And then that's what accounts for a lot of like immune system disorders or mystery illnesses you may be having. The reason why this is becoming more common in people is because we're pushing too much and we put too much pressure on our bodies to keep up with all of the instances in modern life, everything we got to do. So we pushing ourselves, and the body's like, no, I want to take a break. Okay, so water your garden, take care of you, nourish your body, get some rest, be tender, be gentle with yourself, go get a massage, go take a hot bubble bath. You know what I'm saying? Do something nice to kind of pour into you, okay? All right, the next card in your overall energy is the Great Severing, which is Mars energy, anger, conflict, and then softening to love, okay? So it's a Mars energy that's here. Okay, this is a shadow card. So when we look at shadow cards, not necessarily a bad card, but it is a card that's saying that we need to pay attention to that aspect of ourselves that we don't like to look at. The shadow side, the darker sides of ourselves. So, and what I'm feeling is you may feel confrontational. The spirit is saying don't be afraid of how you feel, okay? Whatever emotion you're feeling is there to bring to surface anything that's standing in your way of letting love back into your life. So if you got sidetracked and you feeling some kind of anger, frustration, irritation, sadness, that's okay. Allow yourself to feel that. So and then come on back to love is what this energy is saying. That's what the Mars energy is saying. So it's a reminder to soften, to learn how to forgive yourself, other people, and just find a way to head back to love. The sooner you can accept your emotions that you may consider negative or the not so good emotions, the sooner you can accept it, acknowledge them, accept them, explore it, express them. Then the sooner you can get back to feeling more positive emotions like love, connecting back to that love energy. I always say love is an energy. You know what I'm saying? God is love. Love is a whole force is what I'm saying. And a lot of times we get disconnected based on daily things where we don't want to focus in on certain things, or we try to ignore our frustrations and anger, trying to maintain a status quo. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. If you feel angry, say you feel angry. I'm irritated because of such and such. You know what I'm saying? Or I need some downtime because I need a break from this. You know what I'm saying? And then sit in your emotions. That's the problem with this world. We try to ignore all the negative emotions. Nothing wrong with feeling negative emotions. Emotions is like our body sensor system that's telling us, oh, something's wrong. The more we ignore and push away, the more we have anxiety and stress in our lives because we are ignoring a whole aspect of ourselves. And that's why we call it the shadow side. It's the part of ourselves that we don't want to deal with. I don't want to get into this anger that I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Get into the anger you feeling. And then find ways to cope with the anger by taking care of yourself and nourishing yourself, okay? So Spirit is saying that we're all wounded in our and when we become wounded, we all get wounded. Let's say it like that. We all become wounded at different points in our life, and it could be like wounds from childhood, and then we just getting triggered later in life. But when we are wounded like that, and when we operate in that wounded energy, and we're not healing from it, we tend to inflict wounds on other people. Okay. If we're not careful, before long, we'll start seeing the world as like a scary and a dangerous place. You know what I'm saying? All your fear and anxiety is like it's roaming free. So you got to be careful with that. That's why it's important to heal from the shadow energy or those quote unquote lower or negative emotions that we try not to explore, because if we don't acknowledge them and process through them, it become a part of who we are, and then we navigate through the world with that energy but in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Fear is not necessarily negative. Fear is like a warning sign that something might be wrong, or don't do this because of what such and such. But anger is not necessarily a bad emotion, because if you being taken advantage of, or you feel unappreciated, a feeling of anger or frustration might come up. But that's for you to acknowledge how you feel, so you can process through it and express to the person, or deal with the situation and handle it appropriately. The problem is we don't deal with it. We like separate ourselves, sever ourselves away from it, and then it's like it becomes two things. It becomes a shadow energy and then a higher self. I'm gonna stay in my higher self. I'm gonna be like the good person. I'm not gonna focus on this negative energy. You have to focus on the negative energy too. You have to merge the two to become whole, to see everything in its entirety, and to be logical and know how to process through situations. Okay. Otherwise, if we keep it separate, the lower energy or the shadow energy, which is that fear, anger, and frustration, becomes almost a separate entity. And we become afraid of it when there's really nothing to be afraid of. It's just an emotion that we just choose not to look at or process through. Does that make sense? Okay, so come back to love is what Spirit is saying. So acknowledging any kind of difficult emotions, like any situations, any conflicts, any wounds that you have, any fears that's causing you pain, anxiety, find your way back to love by processing through those feelings and emotions, integrating with your shadow side, that lower aspect of yourself, the parts that you don't want to deal with, so you can logically work through whatever it is that you're feeling, because your emotions is like your sensory, it's helping you recognize how you feel so that you can process through them. Okay? It's normal to close yourself off, close your heart off to the world when you're feeling upset or you're feeling angry, but that should only be a temporary fix. So we call that going into hermit mode, where I'm go to myself and deal with my stuff. But when you go into the hermit mode, make sure you're dealing with that stuff. Make sure you're just not holding in and like you looking at it as something separate outside of yourself, and it's like it becomes a fear factor. It builds up. Fear feeds on fear. Okay? All right. So the last card in overall energy is called Breath of the Cosmos, and it says, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Okay. So what this is saying is surrender to the greater will that God has for you. Sometimes when we try to do things our way and we don't pay attention to the way God is kind of instructing us to do it, and that's, like we don't pay attention to how God's instructing us to do it, we tend to go against the grain, and we tend to make situations hard for us. So when you wake up in the morning and you're feeling like annoyed or frustrated because something didn't go the way you wanted, start praying. Say, God, please use me and show me the way, because maybe my way is not the right way. Sometimes when you feel like you hitting against a wall, it's like that's a sign from the universe, from God, that maybe that's not the right path. God's trying to protect you from something if you continue to go that path. So you might think it's right in your mind, or you might think that's what you want on that lower scale, that human scale, but in the big scheme, like universally, God can see where that path, or if he was to allow that to happen or to work out easily, where that can lead you. Now we have free will. You can still choose it and keep pushing, and eventually you're gonna break that wall down, you're gonna go down there. But it might not be the right path for you to go, and it might cause a little bit more time to come back around to where you're supposed to be. So when something is harder to maneuver, or it's not working out as easily, that means that that's God trying to show you, wait, that might not be the right way. So make sure you ask God, please lead my steps today. Please use me so that I do what I'm supposed to do according to your will, God. You know what I'm saying? And that way you relinquish and control, you surrender in the situation, so you release in your way of thinking, things should be done, and you surrender to the greater will. And then you can never go wrong that way. Okay? So that's just food for thought. Okay? All right, so that's your overall energy, Leo. Now, let's go into the tarot spread. Now, what you guys have, first off, you got two major arcanas. You got the Tower and you got the Death card, which is called Disruption, and the Transformation card in this deck. Okay, so what's happening is your life is being disrupted. Okay, because this is like the Tower in traditional tarot. So Tower, like, this not working out. Let's knock down this foundation. Let's start over. That's kind of like what's happening with you. Okay, and maybe some of you are resisting that, so it's making it difficult to, like, process through it, feel how you feeling, acknowledge, break down a little bit, put yourself back together. You know what I'm saying? This is like a process, and it's actually healthy if you go through it. Okay, but it's a transformative process. Look at her with her little butterfly wings on her. Okay, it's a transformative process. So when one situation ends, another begins. So when a cycle ends, it's just to begin into a new life cycle. That's all it is. So if you look at it like that, it changes. It takes the fear out of it. So it's like, yes, things are a little disruptive. Things feel a little chaotic. You're a little angry, a little frustrated, little, you know what I'm saying? Stuff changing. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to process through it. This is all normal emotions that you're feeling, and it's part of the process, is what Spirit is saying. But reward is going to come from this hard work that you're putting in, to acknowledge what is in the process through it. You're going to get rewards. You're going to be successful. You're balancing things. Things are going to start balancing out. The reason why it's happening is because it's time for a change. One life cycle is ending. Another life cycle is starting. So you end in cycles. I always say cycles go in 10-year cycles, but that's for me. It could be 2-year, 3-year cycles for you. So every so many years, things change up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I want a new job. Maybe I'm not feeling happy about this. Maybe I want to change that. Everything just starts like it's falling apart, but it's not really. You're just getting clarity on this new life cycle. So you transform it into a new phase in your life. Okay, and then rewards come from that, but you got to do the work in order to get there. Okay, so it might feel like, oh, this is painful. 10 of Swords. I feel like I'm down, but 10 is just ending. Like I said, I say 10-year life cycle. 10 represents the ending, and it's hard, it's painful, because it's hard to let go. It's what Spirit is saying. But just nourish yourself. So when you go through these rough moments, take time to love yourself, pour into yourself, take care of yourself, massages, baths, pedicure, manicure, hair done. You know what I'm saying? Do stuff to nourish yourself as you go through these rough moments, is what Spirit is saying. Okay? Because it's like you guys choosing to ignore some things, which is making fear a separate entity. It's making anger a separate entity. And it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the emotions that we experience. But if we don't integrate those emotions within our psyche, then we look at it as an enemy or something coming in and try to destroy us. That's not the case, okay? That's what Spirit is saying. All right, so that's the situation with you, Leo. Aspects of energy that's around you. What's around you is you guys are entering into a new cycle, and you're on the upward part of that cycle, actually. You know what I'm saying? Blessings are starting to come through, and you're starting to see changes come through. Is a beautiful new emotional experience that's opening up for you, but you have to awaken to that. Okay, some of you might be a new home. Some of it just like spiritual insight. Some of it's tapping into your psychic abilities, but you're gonna start feeling could really feel like some of you is a new home. But you're gonna start feeling more secure. If it's not home, you're gonna start feeling more secure with as far as who you are, and feel happier and more of a release, is what Spirit is saying. Okay, so things are improving, things are on the up and up. The Ace of Pentacles, blessings are coming through, new beginnings. This is represent that new beginning that's coming to you. It's okay, be open and receptive to the blessings that's coming through. You might not think they're blessings, but they are. Stop resisting, and then start accepting, and you're going to see that as a blessing, and then you start moving forward. Right now it might be stagnant energy because you're going against it. Your shadow energy is opposing the higher energy, and that's what will keep you standing still. But if you just go with the flow, integrate the two, you can move forward, is what Spirit is saying. Okay? All right. Now, aspects of this energy. Let's see. Positive movement forward. If you can, you're going to be moving forward positively, but that comes with having compassion for yourself during this time. Not forgetting to take care of you, trusting your intuition, and following your heart. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what's going to establish. That's what's going to make you feel more secure, is what Spirit is saying. They feel like the more you resist the less secure you feel. Let me get some clarity on this. The more you resist, the less secure you feel is what they're saying. I feel like you guys in this energy, like, well, I gotta stand my ground. I gotta say what I feel is right. I don't care. This is this, blah blah blah. And it's like you battling against everybody. You're going against the grain, but who are you really going against? Who are you trying to prove this to? What is it that you really want to do? You know what I'm saying? What message you trying to convey? What you trying to get out there? What kind of changes do you want in your life? Start, like, when you get all emotional in your feelings and get all angry and upset, start logicking. Start being logical about how you're going to reach your goal. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to in your feelings, start being logical. So start asking yourself questions. Okay, what am I really wanting from this person? What am I really wanting from this situation? How do I see it being like the best situation for me? What needs to change with me in order for that to happen? What needs to change for that person in order for this to happen? Is this something that I want to stay in? Is this something that I feel like can work? Start asking logical questions, and that pulls you where you're not stuck in your emotions, but you processing through your emotions, okay? And that's what's going to keep you afloat, okay? That's what Spirit is saying. That's what Spirit is saying. Yeah. Spirit, clarify for Leo. So they're saying trust the timing. Time is not running out. It's not too late to do anything you want to do, and don't worry about missing out on things. But like when you worry about stuff, you're missing out on your moment when you worry. So you take it away from time. You can be enjoying time. You can be planning time. You can be processing. Yeah. Trust the season you're in. You're in this season. You feel disrupted, but trust this process. It's a process. You feel like disrupted, everything falls apart, stuff don't feel together, but you're transforming. So trust this process. It's not an easy process. It may be painful to you because you kind of resist it and you don't want to see the truth in it yet. But soon as you to counteract the pain in this process, take care of yourself, nourish yourself. Do self-care is what Spirit is saying. And just trust the season. That's what Spirit is saying. All right. So let's see what's testing the situation, Leo. What's testing the situation is your shadow energy. This is you. This is your higher self. This is your shadow self. This is the part, the anger, the frustration, the fear that you don't want to look at. And separating it and not looking at it where you disassociating from it, make it become an entity, something outside of you, something to be feared. And then you transfer that fear into other things because you haven't dealt with this energy. It's important to bring this energy together. As uncomfortable as it may be, it may not be perfectly together, but like you need to mend these two selves, your shadow side and your higher self, so that you can work through. You know what I'm saying? You can't ignore a whole aspect of yourself. You can't ignore a whole emotion or a whole way of feeling, because you it's almost like you demonizing that emotion. And it's nothing wrong with how you feel. What may be wrong is how you're not dealing with it. So integrate it. Okay, this is how I feel. I feel angry and I feel nervous and I feel scared about this adventure, or I'm worried about this. You might need to communicate it to somebody. Okay, once you say it, it's out of you. That's half the battle right there. That's what Spirit is saying. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. So might need to be communicated. Throat chakra. It might need to be communicated. You might need to write it down. You might need to write it on paper. Do a ritual. Write it down. Then burn it. Like you're releasing it. You know what I'm saying? Get it out of your head. Get out your heart. Get it out of your mind, so you can move on with life and move on to all the goodness that's coming your way, Leo. Is what they're saying. You're safe. Whatever your relationship, if you're in a relationship, that relationship is solid. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to see a counselor to help you work through some things, is what Spirit is saying. But keep on doing the work. And that's what doing the work on yourself. Self-care. When I say work, processing through things, asking questions to logic your way through your emotions, so you're not all stuck and just going in a cycle, being fear-based. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, the world is a horrible place. That's what fear does to you. But like processing through, asking yourself questions. And that's going to bring your confidence back with that King of Wands. You're going to get back on your throne and know who you are, but you got to put the work in. You got to do the work, is what they're saying. If you stay in this sad energy and think about what's lost or what you can't have as you go to this, that's where you're going to stay. You make a choice to move forward by making different decisions, acknowledging how you feel, communicating your truth, loving yourself, pouring into yourself. Then you're going to start igniting the fire. You're going to start feeling the love again for yourself. And you're going to appreciate yourself even more than you did before because you come through some type of hard time. And it's going to balance out. And it's going to be like, oh, happiness, 10 of cups. Happily ever after. Emotional contentment. It's all rainbows and nice times. So, in a sense, they saying like, you can have your 4 wands, your happily ever after. Your 4 wands is really already here. What you're experiencing is new to you, and you may feel like a fish out of water. It's a new emotional experience that you're going through. And, it can be difficult when you're processing through rough emotions or raw emotions, but, just take your time and get through it, is what Spirit is saying. Take your time and get through it, and they know you can. Okay, outcome based on the current situation. So you may be feeling trapped in fear right now. I'm feeling fearful. Say it. I'm feeling fearful, but this is temporary. So one thing you can say about fear is that unless you keep feeding the fear with more fear, it's temporary. It's fear about the unknown, unsure about how this is going to happen. But if you stay in that fear, it's going to make you not able to make a decision. It's going to make you kind of stay stuck. They're saying don't pretend that there's no problem. If it's a problem, it's a problem. And your fear might be necessary in a situation where you take precautions to do something. But they don't want you overanalyzing the situation, staying stuck. Recognize the problem, state what it is, communicate it, write it down, write a plan about how you're going to make it better, or think of a plan, brainstorm. Talk to somebody back and forth, you and your spouse. Try to work it out. Try to come up with some ideas on how to make it work. Voice your concerns in like a loving way. And then just let it go. Walk away from it. You say what you had to say. Remember that card we had over our energy? My will to thy will. God, please take over the situation. I surrender the situation to you, God, because I'm tired of being trapped in fear and I'm tired of worried about this. I give it to you, God. Release it. Stop trying to bend your will to the universe. No. God's will. Okay? That's what it's saying. Go into meditation. Go into solitude. That's what's going to help you discover how to balance things and how to work things out, either within your relationship, or is going to help you bring balance back to your life, or help you understand the order to things, from a broader perspective is what Spirit is saying, okay? Whew, okay, so that's what I have. Like, let's get some, I don't really want to call it advice, but we're going to close this reading out for Leo. Hopefully, Leo, this was helpful to you. So let's get a little bit more. What do you want Leos to know as we close this reading out? Thank you, God, for this opportunity. So a lot of this energy that you may be feeling is working off like past life karma, or karma from this life that you're working off. Like you may have wronged somebody, or something just didn't go the right way, and you're working off karma. So it might feel weird. Like maybe that's some of the stuff that you don't want to look at with the shadow energy. Something you did wrong to somebody else, or something you think, oh, maybe it's coming back to me because I shouldn't have did this. Like you're looking back in your life and judging yourself. Don't judge yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's just a process. You're working some stuff off. Okay. But for now, just get it done. Nurture yourself. Let go of regret and sorrow towards the situation, what didn't work out, what you felt like you could have did better. That's just life lessons. That's stuff you learn, like when you look back and do, hindsight is always better vision. You know what I'm saying? You see it perfectly in hindsight, but as it's happening, we doing the best we can, living our life, is what they're saying. So you have a third house energy here, which is talking about your mind and your intellect, how you process through things, how you approach and how you analyze problems. So they're saying learn to communicate clearer. Yeah, learning to communicate clearer. Communication might be one of the issues. Mm-hmm. And what else, Spirit? Anything else? Last card, 12th house, which is Pisces, ending and surrender. So what we said. So you're on a spiritual path towards enlightenment, and it's going to require meditation and releasing that shadow energy, surrendering to what is, paying attention to your intuition, and just kind of experiencing, go take it easy. So as you go through this rough patch where you're feeling these rough emotions, find ways to soothe yourself physically, your physical body, and spiritually through meditation, prayer, walks, grounding, doing something fun that you enjoy. That's how you balance the energies out, is what they're saying, okay? This is the reality, but just right now. This is temporary. This is like this is fleeting. It's transitionary, okay? All right, Leo. Light and love, and until next time.